Hello, guys. You're done with your very first paper, you're done with accounts. I hope it went as well as you wanted it to be. I hope you feel that those 3 hours you were able to justify all the hard work and all the effort that you've been putting all these days. But irrespective of how it went, it's over, it's done, it's dusted. This point onwards, neither am I going to talk to you about it, nor are you going to discuss about it with anybody else, nor are you going to think about it. You're not going to waste even one single thought on accounts anymore. It's over. Set aside all your accounts book, not one thought about it anymore. And now, with a lot of positivity, let us look ahead to what's coming next. What's next? Your second paper, your corporate and other laws paper, for which you have a solid 2.5 days to prepare. Now, in this video, what is my motive? My objective is to tell you that how can you utilize these 2.5 days in the best possible manner so that there are no regrets later, so that you don't make the mistakes which I have done, you don't make the mistakes that your seniors have made, all right, so that you can capitalize on the fact that you have one extra day. Okay, now this evening, when you're back home, let's say you get to work at 7 o'clock, this evening, do not start with law. This evening, instead, start with GST. Okay, yes, GST. The reason because tax examination you're getting only 1.5 days, and 1.5 days is a challenge sometimes to finish revising the entire tax paper in 1.5 days. It's a huge challenge. So do some solid GST revision this evening and do it so well that you do not have to do it again the day before the examination. Just because it is extra time today, you're not going to be chilling, you're not going to be relaxing, you're not going to be catching up on sleep. No, you're going to make use of this evening to finish some solid GST learning, learn it in such a way and do cover so much that it's going to make a huge difference to your preparation for your tax examination later. Okay, so you can easily put in 4 hours of GST this evening. Let's say you get home by 5:36 or whatever, and let's say at 7 o'clock you get to work. 7 to 9 you start doing your GST preparation, and 9 to 9:30 you take your dinner break, and 9:30 to 11:30 you put in another 2 hours of GST. So totally you will end up investing 4 hours this evening on GST, and 4 hours of not compromised effort, 4 hours of solid, focused, full-fledged 100% effort. Okay, guys, you'll do that, right? Put in the best that you can, guys. We'll relax all that we want after the exams are over. Okay, and then let's say at around 12 o'clock you go to sleep. Now I have prepared this entire schedule assuming you're going to sleep at 12 and you're going to wake up at 6 hours of sleep, but depends upon you. If you are somebody who is a night person, then accordingly you tweak the schedule, but if you're a morning person, you accordingly tweak the schedule. But then if you think this schedule works for you, well and good. So according to your own conveniences, please tweak it here and there. And this is just a general schedule which I have prepared, okay, in such a way with a motive that you should be making the most of these 2.5 days. Okay, so listen. So today evening you finish solid content of GST. Now tomorrow, in the morning you wake up at 6 and you start off with law. Now, when you start with law tomorrow, let's say you wake up at 6 o'clock, you freshen up. Before you sit to study, okay, close your eyes and imagine that you're already doing it very well. Imagine that you're writing the examination really well. Believe in yourself that all the preparation that you have put in is going to be of use for you. Believe that all the preparation that you've put in is enough and you will remember everything in these 2 days. Remember, believe that. Okay, and then with a lot of positivity you start studying at 6:30 tomorrow morning. 6:30 when you start studying tomorrow morning, you will start with other laws. Yes, you heard it right. I am asking you to start with other laws and not with company law. This is one of the biggest mistakes which students do in their days before the examination. Most of the times students start with company law and they leave other laws for the end. Do not do the mistake. The reason being, other laws 40 marks, and these 40 marks, if you do properly, there is no scope of any complication. Understanding these 40 marks, if you've done even reasonably well, then it is very easy to score a 30 or a 32 marks out of these 40 marks. All right, so you start off your preparation with special contracts. It's also an easy chapter, okay, and because of that it's a chapter which you are strong in. All right, so you will have very good start. So I've allocated 4 hours to special contracts. You start at 6:30, 6:30 to 8:30, 2 hours of solid studying. Then you take a half an hour break, let's say, finish off your breakfast. Then start at 9 again, 9 to 11, special contracts. So you're putting in 4 hours of solid work to finish off special contracts. For special contracts, I have also put up a revision video explaining the entire special contracts to you in 1 hour. So if you think it's not happening, if now listen, to what extent are you supposed to rely on revision videos the day before the examination? In these 2.5 days, go to revision videos only in those chapters and only at those times where you feel it's not happening. Where you feel you're not able to do it on your own, only there you approach revision videos. But otherwise, trust me when I say this, the last 2.5 days before the examination, I don't think you should, be depending on YouTube videos or live marathons. Nothing is required. It is these 2.5 days just have to be you and your books, you studying with your books. But in case it feels like you're getting lost, you're getting too distracted, it is not happening, you need to finish this chapter, but at the same time you want to finish it effectively, then yes, you do have a revision video available wherein within 1 hour the entire special contract is getting revised for you. It's up to you. Okay. Then so by 11 o'clock you have finished special contracts. 11 to 11:30 you take a well-deserved break, and break means you take a break. You in this break you don't start running your thoughts whether you remember, whether you don't remember. No, in this 11 in this half an hour you actually take a break. You go stand out in the fresh air for some time, go talk to your parents. Talking to your parents itself will give you so much energy, it will give you so much confidence, and we need that confidence during our exam days. So sit with them, okay, eat something and freshen up, and with a lot of positivity and energy, start studying the second chapter. Now you're going to start off with the Negotiable Instruments Act. Again, for Negotiable Instruments Act, I've allocated 3.5 hours. 11:30 to 1:30 will be your first slot of 2 hours. Then 1:30 to 2, let's say you finish off your lunch, take a small break also. Then 2 to 3:30, 1.5 hours again. Total 3.5 hours. Easily you can finish off Negotiable Instruments Act. Even for this chapter, there is a revision video where in 1.5 hours, the entire chapter is revised. So if it's not happening, same thing I'll tell you again. You first try doing it on your own. But if you feel it's not happening, then you rely on the revision video. Okay. And also one more thing, let me tell you. In these 2.5 days, when you're revising, how are you going to revise? You are not going to say and see whether you remember. You're not going to test your memory. You're going to trust your memory that you remember. You're going to trust that your memory remembers everything. Okay, you will just read through. You will have a quick glance through. Where there are a lot of points to remember, you may want to read again. Okay, some places here and there you say and see. Definitions you say and see whether you remember or not. All right, they're understanding. But in these 2.5 days, don't sit and say and see whether you remember or not. Don't try to memorize. It's all there in your memory. You've done enough revision. You just have to read through carefully. Okay, only then will you be able to finish it off within the allocated time schedules, and follow the time schedules very strictly. 11 means it has to get done by 11. If it did not get done by 11, then leave it over there. Start off with your next chapter. Understanding, if it did not get completed by the allocated time, stop over there. That's it. Start with the next chapter. We'll see later if there is time, you can come back to it. That's going to be your mentality. So you've got to try the best that you can to finish off the chapter within the allocated time schedule. And then, so by 3:30 you finish off the NI Act. Then 3:30 to 4 you take a proper break again, and then 4 to 6 you finish off General Clauses Act. General Clauses Act, 2 hours will be enough. By finishing Special Contracts, NI Act and General Clauses Act, these 3 chapters, if you finish off tomorrow, that is on your very first day, if you finish off these 3 chapters, around, I would say around 30 to 35 marks of your syllabus you are done. Okay, on the very first day, so 30 to 35 marks of your syllabus you are almost completed, and you still have some more hours left in the first day. So once you finish the General Clauses Act, then at 6 o'clock, let's say you start with company law. Yes, in other laws, interpretation of statutes is left, but that I've kept for the next day. The reason being, iOS we may tend to forget sometimes. So iOS we do on the next day. Okay, so you tomorrow you will start off with special contracts. You will finish NI Act. You will finish the General Clauses Act. Once you finish General Clauses Act, you'll come to Companies Act. Under Companies Act, you will take 3 hours, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. By 1 hour, you will finish off the 3 small chapters, dividend, deposits and charges. These are those 3 chapters which students compromise the most in company law. But trust me when I say this, these 3 chapters put together come in the examination for 12 to 15 marks. These 3 chapters put together. Sometimes just MCQs, sometimes MCQs and descriptive, whatever combination, but around 12 to 15 marks you will find in your examination from these 3 chapters. So by doing this, on the first day, you have done all those chapters which come for a lot of marks. Special contracts, 15 marks. NI Act, another 15 marks. General Clauses Act, let us say 5 marks. Dividend deposits charges, let us say around 15 marks. So by doing this, you are already done with around 50 marks of your question paper. Okay, once you're done with dividend, deposits, and charges, and do these 3 chapters really well, okay, 1 hour is sufficient for these 3 chapters. Once you're done with these 3 chapters, then you take your deserved dinner break, 9 to 9:30, get back to work at 9:30. Now, by 9:30, you're going to be tired because you've been studying from morning, you'll be tired. So 9:30, what you do is 9:30 to 12, 2.5 hours I've allocated for very, very simple chapters of Company Act, something which you've been doing even in your foundation, in your CA foundation, your basic concepts, your different kinds of companies, incorporation of companies, MOA, AOA, doctrines, finish off all this. This is very simple. It does not require too much energy. You're exhausted. Time will also get utilized. Syllabus will also get completed. Okay, so with this, you finished your first day, and once your first day is over, you go to sleep at 12 o'clock, let us say. In the first day, you've done some major studying. You have finished 2 big chapters, Special Contracts, NI Act. You have done Smart Study in Companies Act. You have done with 3 of the small chapters which carry good amount of weightage, dividend, deposits, and charges. All right, and now you are ready to start off with the next day. See, I know some of you might be wondering that dividend, deposits, charges, are these 3 chapters actually as important as I'm saying? It is. It's actually important. I'll tell you why it's important. If you are somebody who believes in smart study, chapters where you have less to study but lot of marks, those chapters you do give a little extra importance, right? These are those kind of chapters. They have very less to study. You see, charges chapter, it will get over just like that. It has very little amount to study, but good number of marks. I mean, 4 to 5 marks is not bad from a chapter as small as charges. So these 3 chapters are small, will get over fast, no scope of complication. Do these 3 chapters really well. Okay, then you start your second day. Again, your second day, same thing. You wake up at 6, you start studying at 6:30. You've woken up freshly, you're ready to take on another day. You start with a big chapter, you start with share capital. I've again allocated 4 hours for share capital, which is good enough time to finish the entire share capital chapter. 6:30 to 8:30, same 2 hours slot. Then 9 to 11, another 2 hours slot. You finish off the share capital chapter. Then 11 to 11:30 you take a break, let's say. Then 11:30 you sit with another chapter, the prospectus chapter, 11:30 to 2. Another 2.5 hours I've allocated for prospectus chapter. Again, easily you can complete it within 2.5 hours. Give a little extra importance over here to civil liability, criminal liability and all. Section 34, Section 35, private placement, underwriting, allotment of securities and all. And then after that, 2 to 2:30, let's say you finish your lunch, and 2:30 to 5:30, 3 hours. Yes, you will sit for 3 hours continuously and you will finish accounts of companies. Okay, so you on your second day, share capital chapter, prospectus chapter, accounts of companies. Then let's say you take another half an hour break. You've see 3 hours you finished off accounts of companies. After accounts of companies, what are we left with? We are left with only 3 things. We are left with interpretation of statutes, we're left with auditors, and we're left with meetings. By now, you will have a lot of satisfaction that, yes, I am done with quite a lot. You will have that sort of mental satisfaction that and confidence that, you've done a lot. So now, with a lot of satisfaction, with a calm mind, sit to study interpretation of statutes. Interpretation of statutes, don't rush. You've been given 2 hours. 2 hours is enough. Go through the Latin maxims carefully. Go through the primary rules. Go through the secondary rules. Do not skip this chapter entirely. Okay, you have 2 hours. In these 2 hours, how much ever you are able to do the best that you can. And do it with a calm mind. Okay, so do your best in interpretation of statutes chapter. 2 hours should be sufficient. Then 8 to 8:30, you take a dinner break. 8:30 to 11, you have 2.5 hours. In these 2.5 hours, finish off the auditors chapter. 2.5 hours, good enough time to finish off the auditors chapter. Be careful about the disqualifications part and all over here. 11 to 12, I have kept another 1 hour over here for leftovers. Anything else that you couldn't finish on time, if anything is left to be finished, you have 11 to 12, another 1 hour over here to finish off whatever is left over, and 12 o'clock you go to sleep. Then again, you the day of the exam. This is the day of the exam, 6th of May. 6th of May, again you wake up at 6, and what are we left with? They're left with only one chapter. They're left with only the meetings chapter. Everything else we have completed, and we have completed really, really well. Only the meetings chapter is left. You might find my strategy totally opposite of what the others might be recommending to you. Everybody else might be telling you, do meetings first, do meetings first. But I always say, do meetings at the end. The reason is the meetings chapter is so huge that if you do this chapter initially, you will end up spending too much time on this chapter, because of which all other chapters will get compromised. And it is not that your entire paper is going to be filled with meetings chapter. No, meetings chapter has a very varied weightage. Sometimes it comes for hardly 3-4 marks. Sometimes it goes up to 12 to 15 marks. So it keeps varying. It doesn't have any fixed weightage. So don't spend too much time on the meetings chapter. That is why I always say do meetings chapter towards the end. And the same thing I'm telling you even now. You will do the meetings chapter on the day of the examination, 6th of May in the morning. You will spend not more than 3.5 hours to finish off this entire chapter. For special contracts, I told you video is available. For NI Act, I told you video is available. But for meetings chapter, and for those two chapters, I told you that it's up to you. Only if you're getting stuck, only if you think it's not happening on your own, only then you look at the video I told you. But meetings chapter, guys, I insist, please do the video. That will be sufficient. I have put up a revision video of around 2.5 hours, going through each and every concept under the chapter. Not even one single concept is skipped over there. Do the meetings chapter revision just through the video. It's a 2.5 hours video, but I've allocated 3.5 hours just in case you want to pause and again see any part of it again or whatever. You do this chapter only from the video. Very effectively it will happen, quickly it will happen, and it will happen in such a manner that it's enough for you to write the examination. Okay, so this chapter, yes, you can trust me with this chapter, trust me with the video. Okay, guys, by 10 o'clock, you're done with everything. You're done with everything. You still have around 3.5 hours left. Now, what do you do in these 3.5 hours? It's up to you. But had I been in your place, what I would have done is I would have spent at least 2 hours revising whatever I had studied on the first day, especially special contracts, NI Act, dividend charges deposit, because it's been around 2 days since I've learned all of that, so I might have forgotten something. So I will first spend 2 hours revising my day 1 syllabus. If you still have time, then you will definitely still have 1 more hour. Whatever questions you have marked and kept in RTP, MTP, then go through all the limits. Here you have 5 crore limit, there you have 10 crore limit, here paid up share capital, there net worth. Go through all your limits, okay, and then finish everything. Close your books with again a lot of satisfaction, thinking that you've done the best that you can, and then go kill it in those examinations. Understanding, guys? So in this entire strategy, what's the sequence that you're following? You're first going to finish off special contracts, then you're going to finish off NI Act, then you're going to finish off General Clauses Act. This itself is going to be, let's say, around I'm just giving you rough weightage, okay, 15 marks and 15 marks and let us say 5 marks. So but then rough, to be on a safer side, let us say somewhere around 32 marks over here. Then after these 3 chapters, you're going to finish dividend, deposits, and charges. They generally come for around 5 marks, but then to be on a safer side, let's say around 12 marks. Okay, then after dividend, deposits, and charges, you're finishing off all your basic concepts, your MOA, AOA, your incorporation, promoters, and your doctrines. You're finishing off all of this. From here, they do ask questions, guys, especially a 1% company, Section 8 company, listed, unlisted companies, they do ask questions. So roughly around 5 marks over here, let us say. Then on your day 2, what are you doing? Day 2, you're starting with share capital chapter. You're following it up with prospectus chapter. Share capital and prospectus put together come for another 15 marks. And after share capital and prospectus, you're doing accounts of companies, then interpretation of statutes and auditors chapter. Okay, so this is how you're going to be doing your, this is how you're going to be spending your 2.5 days. And on the day of the examination, you finish off the meetings chapter. According to me, this strategy should help you score a minimum of 70-75. By 70-75, see, had it been a 1.5 day study leave, we would have aimed for an exemption and we would have been happy. But you are getting an extra day. So your aim should not be to get an exemption. Your aim should be to get a minimum 70 to 75. You have worked so hard all these days. Now come on, put those 2 hours, put those 2 days to full use, and extract all the preparation that you have done for all these months. Okay, guys, comment below in the in the comment section saying that you're going to do the best that you can for these 2.5 days. Okay, and go kill it in the examination, guys. I can already imagine how amazing your results are going to be. Okay, follow this strategy. We've tried and tested this strategy even in the attempts earlier. It has worked every single time. Okay, I'll repeat once again what I've told you already. Do not depend too much on YouTube videos except for the meetings chapter. Okay, whatever YouTube videos you wanted to see, it's already seen, it's already done. Now your focus should be just you and your books, you sitting with your books and learning and finishing the chapters one by one. Okay, and those of you who have my book, the 4th edition especially, you can go through, especially in the last 1 hour, that last chapter, cherry on the top, that last chapter which is called the cherry on top in our material, you go through that in the last 1 hour. Okay, guys, so with that, I think with this, I think we are done with this. So I hope you make the most out of these 2.5 days. I hope you do the best that you can. I am right here available for you 24/7. Any doubts you have, WhatsApp me, get them clarified then and there. Anything that you need to know, I'm right there for you. Okay, guys, I'm just so excited to see you do so well. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.